Hi, my name is Sowden, Managing Director of Aspire Europe. I've spent most of my life intrigued by what makes people and organisations tick. My contribution to industry has been as lead author for MSP, the 2007 and 2011 versions, P3M3, which I designed for the OGC in 2008 and then updated in 2015. And I've also written the MSP Survival Guide series, which is books designed to help people in individual roles within programs. The Deadly Sins series highlights common areas of failure in some key topic areas that affect the success of portfolio programs and projects, and I really hope you find them useful. Everyone makes mistakes, right? We all get that. We wouldn't be humans if we didn't. The human race learns from its errors, and over long periods it moves on and improves. However, in fact, history suggests that humans are very good at repeating the same mistakes. So it takes a long time for us to improve. And that is why, in the whole scheme of things, portfolio program and project management hasn't been around for very long. And we don't seem to be learning that quickly. So we are continuing to make the same mistakes. So here's a radical idea. So let's try something a little different. We share with you some of the traps that we have seen, and you try not to fall in them and avoid making the mistakes of others, and then society can move on. So the Deadly Sin series is where we shine a light on what people who fail do, so that you can try to avoid failing as well. That way you can stand out from the crowd and be seen as a high performer. All you have to do is avoid falling in the traps and everything will be fine. The 7 deadly sins of program management. Okay, strange but true. From all our work with P3M3, this is what we have found. Number 1, less than 10% of people involved in delivering programs have a program management qualification. That's a little bit surprising, but there you have it. In P3M3 assessments, only 2 companies across the world have managed to raise themselves above the basic levels of maturity. So they're operating at a level where most programs are being run completely differently. Around 100,000 people have the Managing Successful Programs qualification. But in all our work, it looks like they forget it as soon as they leave the room. There's no evidence of them using it in organisations we have worked with. So let's move on to the deadly sins. First one, thinking like a project. Well, if you're going to fill all your programs with project people, guess what happens? They start using project techniques and they start thinking like project people and they start wanting to deliver things. Don't underestimate how different program managers are. Program management professionals have a different skill set. And please don't mistake qualifications for skills. Look at their backgrounds and ask them to think like program people, not project people. Deadly sin number 2, forgetting the vision. At the outset of a program, everybody's talking about the vision. It's all wonderful and sexy, but as soon as that program starts rolling, people just get busy. Really common failing. You get a vision, next thing you know, you've got projects running everywhere. The program loses direction, the scope drifts because people can't quite remember the detail behind the vision, and before you know it, people are talking about how the projects are getting on. The program board is dominated by project failures or project issues rather than worrying about benefits and outcomes. So deadly sin number 2, forgetting about the vision. Ignoring the life cycle. As one of our clients once said, how come it takes 18 months to get a business case through? I hear nothing for 18 months, and the next thing I know, the program's running 18 months late. So a common failing is to ignore the life cycle. And for those people that have used MSP, we have identifying the program where you create a program brief and everything. The key stage in the life cycle is the second stage. That's where you produce the blueprints and you produce the benefits and all that kind of stuff. But for the unwary, they get themselves a program brief, some high level benefits. Let's get cracking because your program is full of project people. Remember the concept of tranches, and programs that fail launch in lots of directions and it's not possible to keep them under control. So look for tranches, look for control stages, and most of all, a program should have an opportunity to stop. That's what the gates are for. So quite often when you do a review of a program, there is no real life cycle. What you've actually got is a load of projects running, not a program. Deadly sin number 4, not having a blueprint. Well, the blueprint is a definition of what the program's going to deliver. Or as one sage person once said, the blueprint is a description of what the program will leave behind and what the world's going to look like when it's finished. This is often quite difficult because the leadership of the program has to deal with some difficult questions. For example, how big is the organization? What shape will it have? What processes, what technology will it be using? These are the difficult questions that sit beyond the vision, and people don't want to deal with them. So what we do is we start launching projects, and before we know it, it's all out of control. But we do look busy and we do look productive. Not having a blueprint is a fatal error, because without the blueprint, you won't be thinking enough about what the outcomes are. And if you don't have the start state, or what we call the as-is state or current state, and if you don't have a clear understanding of the future state, then your benefits have got to be guesswork, because the benefits are the difference between the current state and the future state. Deadly sin number 5, leaving change to someone else. So we filled our program up with project people. Project people don't tend to do change. They tend to do building stuff. And the whole point of a program is you're going to change something, whether you're changing the infrastructure, whether you're changing a motorway, whether you're building a bridge across the Thames, whether you're putting new IT systems in, whether you're merging with another organization. The one thing that is certain is you're going to make some changes in a program. And so leaving change to somebody else outside the scope of the program, or some mystical being that's going to arrive later, is another one of the fatal errors. Okay. So please remember from the outset, somebody's responsible for change, and benefits come from change. If you don't change anything, you won't get any benefits. So from day one of the program, who is responsible for delivering changes? It won't be one person. It's likely to be a number of people. That's why in the Managing Successful Programs model, the BCM, the Business Change Manager, or as some people call it, Senior Business Owner, is the critical individual. Not the program team, it's the business change team. Deadly sin number 6, getting the governance wrong. Okay, so how many times do you see a program board that spends all its time worrying about what's going on in the projects? You've got it wrong, guys. You should actually be worrying about the program. Yeah, program boards tend to be stuffed full of people who are busybodies, all very excited about making a contribution, giving their opinion, but with no real responsibility to get stuff done. Lots of people with big egos that you placate by putting them on the program board. So as a rule of thumb, if they don't have some authority to make changes in some part of the system that the program's addressing, they shouldn't be on the program board. Make sure everybody's got a clear terms of reference and their authority is signed off. Deadly sin number 7, looking in the wrong places for risks. Well, every time we look at a program risk register, we tend to find that they're dominated by project risks. Yeah, in fact, sometimes they even have the same risks as their projects. Well, risks that knock programs over come from all sorts of different dimensions, and they rarely come from their projects. Strategic changes of direction to the organization can completely invalidate a program. Changes in the operational environment in which it operates, changes to structures, all sorts of things can derail a program in those areas. So if you want to go looking for the risks that are really going to matter to your program, I suggest you go looking at the benefits. What are the benefits you're after, and what are the risks of not achieving them? And you'll find they come from business change and societal change, or economic and market change, far more likely to do significant damage to your program than the risks that are coming up from your projects. You now have a dilemma. You know your organization is getting its programs wrong. So what are you going to do about it? The destiny's in your hands. In your hands alone, you know your program is going to fail. It's over to you. Rome wasn't built in a day, but remember, it was built. Starting your program recovery today? We're just a phone call away. Ring Aspire Europe and ask for one of the directors, and we're only too happy to help. and give you some advice free of charge.